all you're doing is giving away your power because every time you react, you are handing over your power to somebody else because you give them the power now based on the things that you have now done, the behavior you have now displayed, now gives them the power to determine what happens with you. So that could be a permanent exclusion, that could be a suspension, that could be a phone call home, that could be a managed move, that can be all these different types of things just because you've decided to give the power over to somebody else. And the reaction, because it's automatic, because you haven't reflected, stayed with the situation, stayed with your emotions, accepted them, allowed yourself to think about the consequences, allowed yourself to think about how you really feel instead, and then make a decision because you just reacted and didn't think about anything in those moments. It's automatic. And these reactions, like we said before, are just exposing your trigger. So there's different things that you have been through and you've experienced that mean that when certain things happen, it could be little to someone, it could be little to one person, but to you it's extremely big. And all that means is that it's a trigger. So then when somebody pokes you, it causes a bigger reaction than it would to somebody else. And everybody has triggers. But now think about this. If people now know the things that trigger you, you now become predictable. So now if somebody's bored in lesson and they know your trigger, they know how to get their entertainment for that lesson. And now they have leverage over you because they can guarantee if they say or do X, Y, and Z that you're going to react and now everyone else is going to have the entertainment for the lesson. So it's wise for you to understand and identify the things that can bring you to the point of sadness, can bring you to the point of anger, can make your emotions fluctuate and go all over the place and start to understand them. Because if you don't, then other people will have one up over you. And you won't be able to communicate and relate with people in the best way possible until you understand yourself. The interesting thing about reacting is that it can almost feel like you're being honest because you're just being you're just being and doing what you want. But it's not actually what you want because the reactions that you have are not decisions. So you didn't decide to react and behave in that way. It just happened because of how you're used to behaving. So you're not actually choosing and you're not actually being yourself. You're being your past. But if you want to get into the position where you want to be, where you envision yourself being, then you can't keep reacting because that's the old version of you. So you have to align yourself with the future version of you and think about how that version of you would act and make decisions in line with that version of you. Anytime you act emotionally, you miss out on the options to choose and make decisions that are healthier. So you have to remember we always now sit with our emotions, allow them to run their course, but we don't act on them. And we make decisions based on the options that we can see. Because when you're in your emotions, you're almost blind. So if we want to speak on power and control, the control actually begins when reacting stops. If you think about your favorite action movie, your favorite action film, it always represents the powerful people as the loudest ones. But that is never actually the case. Because in the real world, the people that have the power are always the ones behind the scenes. You don't even know the people that are actually in power. The people that are at the face of things tend to actually be the ones that are being pulled to make decisions. So the people that are able to regulate their emotions are the ones that have the control. And the ones that have control are the ones that have leverage. They're the ones that have the upper hand in life because they're not wasting opportunities based on misrepresenting who they are because they are unable to control their emotions and they allow reactions to be the things that people encounter first when they come into contact with them. So when we speak on things like consistency, it's control that creates the environments for consistency to even exist. If you're somebody that struggles with consistency, then if you look at any aspect of your life, you are probably reacting to things rather than making decisions. and you're allowing how you feel to determine whether you do things or not. So it's not about the consistency thing. Consistency, again, is external, but we need to figure out the internal things that's not allowing us to consistently do that thing that's external. We're always looking at things like reputation, and we're always looking for open doors and opportunities. But if we go backwards, it's consistency that allows, that is consistency that builds the reputation, but it's control that allows you to be consistent in the first place. So the internal system that needs to be built is control. For you to have control, you can't allow your emotions to get the best of you and just react in situations. So it's getting to the point of regulating our emotions, which then goes down to the identity, which is having a solid foundation of who you are, what you believe, and your value, your how you view yourself, and not allowing how other people feel about you to determine the way you behave